Hey, Dr. Karen here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And it has been a pretty active week energetically. I think a lot of you would agree. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is patterns. So sometimes I will witness patterns, and when these patterns occur, then it spurs me to ask more questions about what's going on. So one of the patterns has been the activity, let's just say, of bugs. So in the past week or so, there have been an increase or an uptake in activity of carpenter ants, black flies, mosquitoes. Now you could say, well, it's that time of year, especially here where I live in the Adirondacks. And it's been kind of wet and things like that. But there are times where it's very wet and we don't have a lot of activity. And I wasn't really thinking too much about it, except there's a couple of things that I've noticed. One is that in the way in the past, before I did any energy work, if I were to get like a mosquito bite or bug bite, I would swell up like a melon. I mean, I would just be itchy and swollen. I wouldn't be able to sleep. And since doing energy healing, I've been able to successfully pull some of those frequencies out of me, and even some of the attraction frequencies out of me. Now, those guys actually, change pretty quickly, so you kind of have to keep doing it. But I can pull attraction energies out of me and put repelling energies in my field, so I'm less likely to be bitten. And if I am bitten, I can pull out those frequencies so that I don't react. So that's been working fairly well for the last several years. But lately, I noticed hey, I got some bites and they were more swollen than normal. I thought that is very curious. I haven't had this for a while. And then the carpenter ants started, basically having a big old party at my house. And it's like now, I hate to do this, but like whip out the aspartame, like whip out the NutraSweet, and they go nuts over that. It's sad, actually, because I don't really want to kill anything, but it's sort of like, okay, you guys, you're in my house, so what's going on? So my husband whipped out the aspartame and put it along the path away from the dog, of course, because it's so toxic. And the ants go kind of crazy. Like they kind of start acting like zombies and like attacking each other. Like it's really freaky. So don't use aspartame. Anyway, so, but then it wasn't until I went to the chiropractor's office and Dr. Joe's like, oh yeah, people really complaining how bad the carpenter ants are, this year, and the black flies and the mosquitoes. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll look into a pattern. Let's see what's going on. So on the bigger scale. So sure enough, there was a pattern. And what it was sometimes the insects and the lower, smaller animals, they will show a reaction very, very quickly if there's something that's unhappy or they're unbalanced. And this time it was what I call a dimensional desynchronization, which means that various different parts of their physical body were resonating in different dimensions. This generally is not very comfortable, especially for humans. And most of our body parts would like to be in the same dimension as each other. So like your brain might be in the fourth dimension, your liver in the third dimension, your heart's in the seventh dimension or something like that. Generally, it's not very comfortable, and on a physical level, things don't work as well. They don't talk to each other as well. So that was what was going on with these bugs, and I found out hundreds of other species on the planet. Now, I won't go into details of maybe why that was happening, but just know that we did a correction. So we did a correction. So what we did was we did a healing. So what we do in a healing, and this is from, by the way, TOLPAKAN Healing, level 1 training, we do a dimensional synchronization. So we do a directive where we synchronize all parts of us to whatever dimensions for the highest and greatest good, and have all those parts of us talk to each other in the best way dimensionally, and so this dimensional synchronization, we did that for the bugs, the world, these species. Some humans were definitely affected. I didn't have permission to treat all humans on Earth, but certainly in our light warrior tribe. So if that happened to you, more than likely that probably evened out. So you may or may not have felt it. Generally, if people feel dimensionally desynchronized, they just feel really odd, like just really weird, and some really sensitive souls can literally feel like there's parts of them that are not fully here, and that's kind of true. So hopefully, if that was the case for you, we did that healing, I believe, I think Tuesday night, something like that. Monday or Tuesday night. So hopefully that helped. But there was a lot more activity going on. And one of the other things was that one of our alternate parallel timelines of Earth, there was a lot of spiritual stuff going on, energy related issues, spiritual issues. So we were doing a lot of healing on this alternate Earth. And when doing that, we had to some of us, that were feeling what our alternate selves were feeling in the other environments, we had to go and heal those environments and trying to put up some auto healing bubbles so that all these environments would then not necessarily bleed symptoms into our environment here, so we would react to them. So hopefully that will ease off in the next day or two as things process. And I noticed Tuesday that I was definitely feeling kind of weird and funky. And I literally like sat on the couch and took a nap, which is like, that never happens. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm primarily parasympathetic. What was actually happening was that my dimensional body was recalibrating itself. The words recalibration came into my brain as I'm snoozing here on the couch with the dog on my lap. And I knew it was going to pass. And the funny thing is I could still muscle test, thankfully. And I could just see how far the recalibration had finished, like 50%, 60, 70, 80, And when it was close to 95%, I started waking up. It was really interesting. And then, after it finished, I was like back to my normal self, got up, did dishes, whatever. So sometimes when these things happen to us, it may seem bad or we might judge it as bad, but sometimes it's just a phase, just something that needs to recalibrate. And what's really interesting is I'm watching Missing Links by Greg Braden, and in this particular episode, he shows us pictures and video of nerve cells making and breaking connections with other nerve cells. And what's really fascinating, now they speed it up obviously to show on the video, but what's really fascinating is this is over 72 hours. So in other words, these connections are made and broken, like new neural networks are made and destroyed, old ones destroyed. It takes about 2 to 3 days. And what's really interesting is in TOLPAKAN healing, if you are processing healing really well and optimally, it takes about 2 to 3 days to process. And processing may mean for your nervous system and your energy body, okay, your energy system, to get into that new habit of being a new self, a new healed part of you. So just keep that in mind, and let's be a little bit patient, because I know I'm not that patient. I like instant results, right? It's like, okay, if I have I don't have a bad tooth, but if I did, I'd be like, boom, I want to grow this tooth like overnight. And that doesn't always happen, or not yet, in most people's lives, because there is this habitual thing that has to happen. Speaking of habits, this is very interesting. We've gotten that when I talk to source about if somebody was to automatically heal, how much time during the waking hour or waking time during the day would they have to spend being aware of pure awareness, so being in 0 point? The answer was always 9 or 10% of the waking time. And that sounds a lot. I know that's like 1.44, hours, or 5 hours of the day. And here's the thing, if you did it periodically throughout the day, dipping into it, it was more effective than if you were doing 1 3/4 hours in meditation all at once, interestingly. So that ability to tap into that while you're doing other things is actually a pretty neat skill. And it's something that we teach in the STOIM, so stillness through observing internal movement. And you can get the free initial meditation on purelightaudio.com. It's in your smartphone. It's an app, Pure Light Audio, and you can download the meditation for free. So it gets you into that 0 point. And if you can do it like I am right now, aware of pure awareness while I'm talking, while my eyes are open, while I am expressing things. So that is really the key, if you can be in that space. And it's so peaceful and it feels good. Like, some people feel bliss, some people just feel calm, some people feel nothing, and that's even awesomer, like not awesomer, but just as awesome, is that being able to pay attention to the 0 point or pure awareness while you're doing. Pretty cool stuff. Here's the interesting thing. When I was re-asking this question for me personally, what percent of the time do I need to be in stillness to manifest my future ideal reality? The answer was not 9% anymore. It was 8%. I thought, oh, that's one less. That's very interesting. I asked source, why is it less than before? For everyone, it's 9 to 10%, 9 to 10%, consistent across the board. And the answer was because I had developed energetic and quantum patterns. The patterning of the new reality is now set because I had practiced it so much. I don't have to actually practice it as much. Now, for things that I have not wished for, have not manifested yet in my mind and using my mind in a creative way, that might still take the 9 to 10%. But for things that I already have seen in my mind over and over and over again, I've practiced that. It's like if you know Joe Dispenza's work, this will seem really familiar to you. Then I don't need to be in stillness or aware of stillness as often to continue manifesting that new reality. Pretty cool stuff. So that's the other thing that I really want to share with you that was really, really interesting. Okay, so some announcements for this week. On Monday's show, Light Warrior Radio, we have the wonderful and beautiful Yana Arsenault, Pain Freedom Method. She is an expert in pain freedom natural way. So if you have any sort of physical pain that you're suffering from, have suffered from, this is the time to get on this call to get some expert mentoring and some advice from Yana Arsenault. So she's actually one of the mentors as well for the Wellness Leadership Academy, and she's an amazing person. So join us live Monday at noon Eastern for that radio show segment. The second announcement is just I want to let you know, for those of you with any sort of issues related to, pelvic health, women's health, incontinence, urinary issues, vaginal pain, painful sex, all that kind of stuff, Isa Herrera is closing the doors on her pelvic alchemy program, which is only open once a year. And so if you're ready to heal these areas, your first chakra, these areas in your life, now is the time to get this program. And it's a money back guarantee. I mean, amazing, right? So that link we will put below this video. And just keep in mind that the cart will close on the 24th. So if you're watching this video after that, June 24th, 2019, it may not be open. So apologize about that. But if you are watching beforehand and it is of interest to you, it's a wonderful investment in your wellness, in your health, in your sex life, so on and so forth. I highly recommend it. I've done it myself. It is an amazing, amazing program. Third announcement is the Light Warrior Training Camp. We are now in full swing, ready for registrations at the Omega Institute. I actually created a page, a website where you can learn more about it and you can figure out whether this is for you. You'll be learning about some of the things that we are going to be training at the camp. Now, of course, you're going to have lots of fun and we're going to do some really cool stuff as well for fun. But as far as the training portion, we have that listed in there. Some of the things we're going to be doing, of course, we're going to be working on divine muscle testing, the light scoring system, what I call the Nirvana of No, how to say no as a sensitive soul in a beautifully empowered way. And yes, this is a skill set you absolutely need to thrive as a sensitive soul. So we're going to be training that. Also, perception kung fu and environment magic, which includes things like weather magic and traffic magic and never before taught transmutational bubble magic. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Transmutational bubble magic. Yeah, and lots more. So check it out at lightwarriortrainingcamp.com. That's September 22nd. Well, it's actually 23rd if you don't count the day you're staying over. So 23rd to 27th, 5 days with moi in person. So definitely want you to come to that. And also because those that join before July 31st actually get a bonus. It's a live 3-part master class on Discover Your Superpowers. One class will be before, and then the other 2 classes will be after the event. So you get some continued contact with me, and that's valued at least $333. So that one comes free with your registration. Just make sure if you do register, just email us at support@karencan.com to make sure we know that you've registered so we can put you on that mailing list for when those live classes start. So that's the announcements for this week and the Spiritual Medicine Digest for this week. It's been an active week, definitely somewhat challenging for some folks, but just stay connected. Let's stay connected. If you're part of my tribe, great, awesome, thank you. If you're not part of my tribe yet, join us at Light Warrior Network on Facebook. And That way, you know, we can get you up to speed on what's going on, and just being in the group puts you in a bubble of healing energy. Whatever is supposed to heal on its own will help support to heal. Now, it doesn't mean you don't do any work, but it really helps to do that. Like, for example, you know, one of our new tribe members, Jocelyn, you know, she says, hey, you know, I need some help here at home. There's a lot of dark, lower energies and maybe entities. And so I said, well, the first thing you want to do is get my free clearing spray formula. So we gave her the link for that. And she has this amazing testimonial about how much better she and her husband feel right away. It's right away. It's amazing. Now, before, maybe you had to spend $8,000 for someone to come to your house and clear entities, right? But now you have this free spray that's going to do a lot of the work for you. There's nuances, of course, to clearing home, but you know, a lot of the bulk of, you know, your space that you're in that you can work on with the spray can be helped a lot. So anyway, so join our Light Warrior Network if you're not already part of our tribe, and subscribe to the video if you're watching this on YouTube. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.